I noticed the house because it wasn't supposed to be there. I'd lived in the same neighborhood for almost 12 years. A quiet suburb just outside a mid-sized city. Looping streets, identical mailboxes, the same trees trimmed by the same landscaping company every single spring. I walked my dog on the exact same route every evening. I knew which porch lights flickered, which houses had wind chimes, and which families argued loud enough for you to hear them through closed windows. So when Google Maps showed a house at the end of Alder Lane that I had never seen before, I just assumed it was a glitch. Alder Lane ends in a cul-de-sac. 5 houses, no empty lots, no room for a 6th. But there it was, right there on my phone, 2,487 Alder Lane. The little Street View thumbnail showed a narrow, 2-story house tucked neatly between numbers 2,485 and 2,489. Gray siding. White trim, dark windows. It was completely unremarkable, except for one small detail. It didn't exist. I stood at the edge of the cul-de-sac and looked up from my phone. 5 houses, just like always. I refreshed the app. The house was still there. I shrug it off. I mean, mapping errors happen, right? I'd read about phantom roads, mislabeled buildings, even entire lakes that only existed in the digital world. So I put my phone away and finished my walk. That night, I had a strange dream. I was walking through hallways. They weren't scary, just endless. Beige walls, soft carpet under my feet, and doors that all looked exactly the same. I woke up with this bizarre feeling that I'd been walking for hours. The next morning, mostly out of curiosity, I checked my phone. The house was still there. This time, I tapped on it. A photo gallery opened. There were dozens of pictures, all taken from inside the house. Empty rooms, bare walls, sunlight streaking through closed blinds. There was a photo of a staircase shot from the bottom, angled upward, like someone had stopped halfway up and just turned around. Then I swiped to the last photo, and my heart stopped. It was my living room, not a similar one. Not one that kind of looked like it. It was my couch, my coffee table with the chipped corner. The sad, wilting plant my girlfriend kept forgetting to water. The photo was taken from the doorway, as if someone had been standing right there, just watching. I dropped my phone. I live alone. My mind raced as I checked all the locks. The front door, the back door, every single window. Everything was secure. There were no signs of forced entry. Nothing was missing. There was absolutely no reason to think someone had been inside my home. I told myself it was impossible. It had to be a prank, some kind of weird data mix-up. Maybe an old real estate listing photo that got mislabeled. But still, I didn't sleep much that night. Over the next week, the house on Alder Lane became more detailed. New photos started appearing every day. A bedroom not mine with a perfectly made bed, a bathroom with no shower curtain. A kitchen with appliances that looked brand new but had clearly never been used. And then photos started showing up that were unmistakably taken inside my home. My sink with last night's dishes still in it. My laptop open on my desk. My front door photographed from the inside mid-afternoon while I was at work. Each photo was time-stamped. Perfectly accurate. I called Google support. I filled out online forms. I sent emails. All I got back were automated replies about investigating discrepancies. Meanwhile, the house on the map gained a floor plan. I could zoom in and see the room labels: living room, kitchen, bedroom A, bedroom B, and one more. Observation room. That one didn't have any photos. It was just a gray, empty square on the digital blueprint. I stopped taking my usual walks. I started double-checking closets before I went to bed. I even set my phone to record audio while I slept, just in case. But there was nothing, no strange noises. No movement, just silence until Thursday. I came home late from work. It was one of those long, draining days. It was raining, the kind of evening where the whole world just feels slightly off, like the air pressure dropped without telling anyone. As I pulled into my driveway, my phone buzzed. A notification. New photo added. 2487 Alder Lane. Against my better judgment, I opened it. The photo showed my driveway. My car was pulling in. But the photo was taken from above from an angle that simply didn't exist in reality. It wasn't from a neighbor's window or from a tree. It was higher. I just stood there in the rain, staring at the screen, watching myself arrive home from a perspective that couldn't possibly belong to anyone. I didn't go inside. I sat in my car for nearly an hour, scrolling through the listing. The house's description had been updated. Single-family residence, occupied, and then one word that made my blood run cold. Condition, active. I called my sister and asked if I could stay the night. I didn't explain why. I didn't have to. She heard the panic in my voice. I didn't go back home until Sunday afternoon. When I finally did, everything looked normal. No signs of entry, no damage. I couldn't find any hidden cameras, though I knew I wasn't really qualified to do a proper search. But the listing had changed again. The observation room now had photos. They were all taken from the same spot, a high corner of my bedroom ceiling. Watching the bed, watching me sleep. There were photos from different nights, showing me in different sleeping positions. But always from the same unnerving angle. Then I noticed something else. In the earliest photos of the observation room, it was empty. But in the later ones, objects had started to appear. A chair that didn't belong to me. A small table, a notebook resting on top of it. I finally called the police. They were polite, thorough, and very, very skeptical. They searched the house, checked the attic, the crawl space. They took notes. They asked me about carbon monoxide poisoning, if I had a history of sleepwalking, about my stress levels at work. One of them suggested that someone could be hacking my Wi-Fi and uploading fake images to mess with me. I asked him how they could explain the timestamps that matched moments when I wasn't even home. He didn't have an answer for that. A week later, the listing added a review. 5 stars. It read, very responsive occupant. Minimal resistance. Would observe again. That was when I broke. I went through my house and unplugged my router. I took my phone outside and smashed it on the pavement. I packed a single bag and I left. I moved in with a friend across town, changed my number, got a new phone, set up new accounts, and created entirely new routines. For a while, it worked. No strange notifications. No phantom houses on my map. I started to feel stupid, even paranoid, for ever believing any of it was real. Then, one night, I was scrolling through apartment listings, looking for a new place to live. And I saw it. A different street, a different city. But the same house, the same photos, and it was updated. The observation room now had a new angle, closer, and in the reflection of my old bedroom mirror. I could see myself, in my friend's apartment. Holding my new phone, the listing status had changed one last time. Condition, relocating occupant. I closed the app. I don't use maps anymore. But sometimes, when my phone screen is dark and I catch my reflection, I swear I can see a little blue dot behind my eyes. Perfectly still, just waiting for me to stop moving. Thank you for watching. If stories like this one get under your skin, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. You never know what's waiting just around the corner.